5 Clarinet Reed Hacks you should 100% start doing today. If we speak about clarinet reeds, me 10 years ago would have probably been the worst person to approach, okay? I had troubles with reeds, so many troubles, and my reeds were changing a lot during the break-in process. I didn't get excellent reeds in the end. They were stuffy, they closed, and now I will show you all the 5 things you should start doing that I found out in the last 10 years to not suffer with bad reeds anymore. Number 1, flatten the bottom of the reed, okay? Oftentimes, everyone is concerned with the shape, the V shape here at the top of the reed, but no one cares about the bottom of the reed. But actually, the bottom of the reed is the thing that is the most destroyed with moisture, with exposure to moisture, okay? So if your reed comes in contact with saliva and then you play for a while, saliva travels below the reed, okay? Sometimes through the reed, down into the vamp of the reed, and sometimes also it comes below the table of the mouthpiece, underneath the reed here. So it gets moist, and it gets moist not evenly, okay? And therefore it starts to warp. And it doesn't warp when it's getting moist, but it warps when it dries afterwards. So can we prevent this warpage? Yeah, not too much. Every reed will warp in some way or form, but we can then flatten out the bottom of the reed again to counteract this warpage that already happened, okay? And there are 2 tools, yeah, to do this. I'll show you my 2 favorite tools to do this. This is the Reed Geek. It comes in a pretty cool pouch here, super fancy. And this is like a little metal stick with super sharp edges. And what you're gonna do with this Reed Geek is basically lay it flat on the reed, and just with the weight of the Reed Geek, travel down the reed with the grain of the reed, okay? And then you will see very small pieces of cane coming off. I don't know if you can see it, I think a little bit. Very small pieces of cane coming off unevenly, which means it's not perfectly flat. If it was perfectly flat, the reed, it would come off everywhere the same amount. But you will see that sometimes on the sides more will come off, and sometimes on the middle of the reed more will come off. So actually the reed has 2 different ways to warp. It's either the rails of the reed swell up, or the middle of the reed swells up, and you can't really control which one of the 2 happens. But we can counteract and flatten with the Reed Geek. A link will be down in the description for the Reed Geek. The other tool, it's a bit easier to use, is a Van Doren reed resurfacer. And here you basically, the goal is to do the same thing, to flatten the bottom of the reed. You put it on the reed resurfacer like this. You don't put it with the tip of the reed onto the reed resurfacer. So the tip of the reed and the heart of the reed always stays off the reed resurfacer. And then you will start to sand down the bottom of the reed in this way, yeah? And yeah, so basically it works as sandpaper, but it's not sandpaper. So this is glass, and glass will not wear out, okay? So you can use this one forever. So if you wash it, all the reed on the glass here is gone, and then it's perfectly sharp again for the next reed that you're gonna flatten. A link will be also down in the description below. And before we will move on to number 2 reed hack, I want to tell you about the promotion that is going on this week on clarinetmasterclass.com, okay? Clarinet Masterclass is my passion project where I help clarinetists go from good to great on the clarinet and get rid of all their clarinetistic problems in a matter of just a couple of weeks. So if you couldn't get rid of your clarinetistic problems in the last 10 years. 10 years is a lot of time to, in theory, get rid of staccato problems, sound problems. But if you couldn't yet, take it into consideration to make the membership and go through the course material right now. Okay, so we have a 30% discount on the website on the membership for this week only. Basically, it's 30% off for the monthly membership for the first 3 months and 30% off, this is my personal favorite, for the entire first year. Okay, me personally, I'd go for the yearly one because it is more affordable. Okay, so you will have an even larger discount on the yearly, and then you can consume all the amazing content, all the clarinet education stuff, all the live workshops that will come in the entire next year. Okay, so if you want this progress for yourself, if you're sick and tired of maybe having a bad sound, maybe having these articulation problems, this anxiety because things we play don't come 10 out of 10 times, okay, then go make the membership right now. The coupon code, I will put it here, is progress. Okay, progress, everything small. Why progress? Because this is what we want to make, and we want to make this progress fast, okay, in weeks and not decades. Like some clarinetists have already wasted these decades and years for something that is actually not so hard to figure out, okay? So go make sure to make this progress for yourself in weeks and sign up right now for Clarinet Masterclass. Let's continue now with number 2. Clarinet Reed Hack number 2 is use a high-grow reed case, okay? So the weather is a really big problem with reeds. If it's sunny, it's very different for the cane of the reeds than when it has rained for the past 12 hours in a row, okay? So those two different environments are so different for the cane of the reed, and the cane of the reed changes. So the playability of the reed will not be the same. Therefore, you will need a high-grow humidity control reed case, okay? So this reed case seals airtight. It is the D'Addario reed case, and it has a humidity pack inside. So you can be sure that whenever you close, almost dropping the reed case here. So whenever you close the reed case, it is sealed airtight, and the humidity inside of the reed case will be exactly at 72%. Okay, so this will prevent a lot of warpage of reeds, and also control the response of the reeds. So once you have a concert reed that doesn't warp anymore as much, it will still be very, very, very consistent, in its color, in its playability, in its response. So that's why I only use this reed case. So I would recommend it also to you. If you don't have it yet, I will also leave a link down in the description to this D'Addario humidity control reed case. Clarinet Reed Hack number 3 is close the pores of the reed. Okay, so the pores of the reed means the openings of the little tubes that come out of the reed. So basically each tube of the cane has a hole in the end, so it's open, okay? So therefore a lot of moisture can enter into the reed. The goal with closing the pores of the reed is to close those holes that the moisture cannot enter that easily or cannot enter at all into the tube, okay, of the reed. And therefore it will sound much better. If the water doesn't enter into the tube, the sound of the reed is much better, okay? So how do we do this? I like to personally use the backside of the glass of the reed resurfacer, because it's a flat surface, so you need a flat surface to work on. And then you basically, what do? You just wet your fingertip of your thumb, and then you run over the reed like this to close off the pores. The goal is to close off the pores, and you will do this like for, I don't know, around 20 seconds, something like this, until you will feel it's more or less enough. And afterwards, when you play it again, directly you will feel a different response. It will be a little bit easier to play, it will be a little bit less hard. So it will be on the softer side, but it will also have directly after you do this, it will have a nicer staccato, and for the next weeks it will last longer, because if water doesn't enter, okay, it warps less and we have a longer reed life. Reed hack number 4, no sun exposure. Okay, I see this very often with many clarinetists actually. So you leave your clarinet bag in the middle of the sun at 12 at noon, and yeah, that's like crazy. Inside of the clarinet bag, it will get like 50 degrees Celsius. The reeds will dry out as if it was the desert Sahara. Okay, so this is something you cannot do at all. You cannot put your reeds into the direct sun. And if it's in your reed case, in your clarinet case, also don't put your clarinet case in the direct sun, okay? It will heat up too much, and the reed is so delicate, it will change a lot with this heat exposure. It's like putting it in the oven, okay? We wouldn't put our reeds in the oven, so also don't put it in the direct sun, because it will not do the reed any good. Reed hack number 5, bend it back. Okay, so for this reed hack, I like to use the reed resurfacer again, because it's a flat surface. Okay, so see how we need these flat surfaces when we work with the reeds. This is really important. So basically, this reed hack is if the reed closes on you, okay? If the reed doesn't have this flexibility here in the tip anymore, it will start to close on you against the mouthpiece, and it will feel like you can't blow easily inside of your instrument. It feels like your air is restricted in traveling through your mouthpiece, through your instrument. Therefore, there's an easy hack, but this is just an emergency solution, okay? So you can do this hack around 2 times with a reed. And yeah, it's like a physical thing for the reed to bend it back, so that it immediately after you bend it back, it will not close on you for around an hour. So this is the perfect hack to do before a performance. If something happened with the reed, if a reed suddenly closes, you have this reed hack in as an ace, yeah, in the back of your abilities, and then you just do it. So basically, the reed has to be a little bit moist for this. So ideally, you played it already before, and then very gently you hold it, yeah, at the very end of the reed. Don't hold it in the middle and bend the tip, yeah. The goal is to bend the entire reed, so therefore you can just lift it very slightly at the back and then bend back the entire reed. So basically that the pressure to bend back is around here at the reed and not at the tip. If you would bend like this, you would bend the tip of the reed, and the more steep you go, the more you actually bend the back of the reed here. Okay, and this will result in you being able to give more air through the instrument and then have a better sound and a better concert in direct correlation. If you liked this free content on YouTube here, like this video already, this is the free stuff, yeah? So Clarinet Masterclass, the paid stuff, you can just imagine how much better it is than this stuff here on YouTube. So go create a membership right now, gold membership. Use the coupon code PROGRESS, yeah, to get a discount, 30%, and do it right now. I'll see you guys all. Thank you for watching. Bye.